up, baby?
Good champ. Well, it's just us today. I'm gonna just do an interview. I missed the USA interview.
Is it really just us?
Nah. We
Oh,
got
okay.
Paul said he's coming, and then I got Jordan Hutchinson.
He's Miss USA 2021, right?
20 we in 2023, yeah, 2021. So
Right.
no, Stu was 2021. So Jordan is 2020.
No, Stu was 22.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you were 2020. Okay, yeah. So Stu,
Yeah.
so Jordan was 21. You're right. Well, who was 2020?
Uh, this black dude. What's his name?
2020?
Chris Tuchel.
Oh yeah, that's my point too. Yo, we could really have that podcast and have like every USA winner because
Yeah, you're really good.
yeah, and it's like they usually live around Vegas or Cali. When Chris won, he was in Cali. Now he's in Vegas. So it's
Yeah.
like we all know each other. Literally, we could have a podcast with fucking bring Chris Cormier on that shit. We could have everybody on it. Yeah, good point. I forgot about. I think I did
Yeah,
that.
well, that
I
was
did that
COVID
show.
year, so
Huh?
that was
Oh,
COVID year. So I didn't even know who. I knew of him. I didn't know he won. I
yeah.
actually I just found that out not too
Bro.
long ago.
That shit was crazy. I was there. That was my comeback show. I hadn't competed in like a year.
Oh, that's when you were working with Justin, huh?
I did, yeah. I was way too. I thought I had more muscle than I had because you take a break and you big, but it's not
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah,
it wasn't as dense as I thought it was. Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, I'm
What's
290.
up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Jordan?
How's it going?
Can't
What up,
complain,
Jordan?
brother.
Hey, I'm dope.
You know,
Good to meet you, man.
Joe. You know Joe Jordan from
I haven't met him, no. Let
Uh,
me know if I'm too loud or anything like that, or if I need to adjust stuff.
you're on the louder side, but it's actually perfect though. It's actually perfect.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, no, I saw that Joe just won USA's.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
And then you
So
won 2 years before that, right?
Yeah, 2021. Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
we
Good to meet you, Joe.
likewise, man. You took 2 years off. That was your pro debut you just did, right?
Yeah, man, I needed the size. I was like barely 225 when I won USA's. I was a heavyweight.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
see, when you have like a balanced physique like that, you can't tell because like your 225 at USA's looked bigger than my like 243. And
I don't
weirdly.
know about that. Maybe to you.
Yeah.
I look
Beauty
small to
is in the
me.
eye of the beholder, bro.
I,
Right. I know, man. I know. We always feel smaller than we are.
good point. Good. Like every time I'm backstage, if it's just me or I look around, I'm like, these light heavies are pretty big. I don't know
No,
if
I know. Backstage, everybody looks freaky, dude.
it's crazy, bro. I was looking at Joe and I was looking at Eric. I'm like, because Eric told me his weight. Like before he called up, he was like 245. I'm like, well, I'm heavier than that. Shouldn't I be bigger than him? But I'm like, I don't feel like I'm bigger than this guy. I just don't. I just
What did you say you weighed on stage?
243.
Oh
243.
man, yeah. Yeah, we were about the same weight.
Yeah, you see, but
For
but
this.
you peaked perfectly. You were full, you were shredded. I was shredded but super flat, but
Oh, really?
yeah. But I mean, that's also, you work with a coach, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You do your own thing, right? Or
Yeah, like on and off, like Compton was my coach, and I still like asking questions and stuff. But for the most part, I do my own thing just because I feel like I feel like my body's so complicated. I feel like for him to tell me, yo, you're gonna have to do 2.5 hours of cardio, 3 hours of cardio. I feel like
we
it's like,
talked about that. Me and you talked about that because you said it just takes such extreme measures, it seems you said,
yeah,
to lose body fat.
exactly. So I almost felt like I didn't want to put that on a coach to have to tell me
Yeah,
to do like extreme things. So I just did it myself.
that's
But
right.
then I went too extreme, so I'm gonna work with him again.
Okay.
Definitely for the prep, but probably like maybe like 24 weeks, like leading up to the prep. So I know he likes to bring the food up before he brings it down.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's always the best thing, man. Like, what was your food at in the off season prior?
See, I think last year I underdid it because I'm like, I just want to be shredded. So I try to
Yeah.
stay leaner than usual. And my calories didn't really go over 4,000, which to me was,
Really,
yeah, yeah. So it
dude,
wasn't.
I barely went under 4,000 this prep.
Yeah. How much did you weigh for your pro debut? 240 something?
uh, I was like 242, 243 the morning of before
Okay.
carving up for stage. So probably around 245 on stage.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you held your own, man. I mean, you really held your own. Even size wise, obviously, I knew you would hold your own as far as like condition and balance and stuff. But I was surprised you held your own size wise. I didn't realize you were that tall. How tall are you?
I'm almost 5'10", just under 5'10". So I mean, like the problem is when I'm by myself, I don't look as big because
Yeah,
I'm a structure guy. Like my frame and my clavicles are really wide, but you don't see that. You just see like a frame that's not totally filled out on me
yeah,
until I stand next to somebody, and then my frame is a lot bigger. So I just got to take the time to fill it out, you know.
yeah. I thought that was one of the most impressive pro debuts. I think we're in a time where we have some freaks that are just coming in and winning pro debuts right away. So I feel like
Mm.
I got way more like like traction. That wasn't the case, right? Because it's not normal to win your pro debut. That's
It's
not
not, no.
that's not,
Justin Shire winning his pro debut was awesome, bro. And then Ross
Yeah,
winning, that was his second show.
yeah.
So
We're in a time where you had Nick Walker and Andrew and guys like that. So I feel like the fans are like spoiled. So they kind of like
right.
Justin his pro debut and they're still talking shit. And it's like, how can you talk trash? The guy just won his pro debut, you know?
No, I know. I know.
whether he did or he didn't, he would have got shit talked.
No matter what he
As some
did.
people are.
No,
Oh,
exactly. And
was
dude,
good,
before
Paul.
the show, I had a lot of people. Yeah, I haven't met Paul. What's up, man?
What up, man? How you doing, bro?
We hear
Good,
you.
man.
Paul is like what, 3 weeks out now?
A
Yeah,
little
about
under.
go
Under
under Saturday.
Yeah.
you
What
look
show?
Legions.
Oh, nice. I was this close to pushing out of Texas and going into Legion, but I decided not to.
I'm excited. I heard it's a really, really well ran show, man. So really excited to do it. And it's my
Yeah.
pro debut.
Oh, nice, man. That's awesome.
Well, for you to do Texas, Jordan, that was good, man. Like you went up against some like high level names. Like I would want to go that way. You placed in the top five in a group that was really good.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's funny is I just posted this on YouTube and talked about it. I was fourth on the scorecards at prejudging.
Yeah.
And I talked to Tyler Mannion after the show, and he said, because basically me and my coach were trying to chase Carlos with fullness. And so we played the fullness game between prejudging and finals and lost some of that sharpness. And Tyler said, that's where I slipped to fifth. So
Hey,
yeah.
it's a gamble, right? No matter what you did. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, that was USA's. So I did put on 20 pounds since then.
Yeah, that's impressive. I did follow some of your off season and the amount of food you ate was ridiculous. But you
Dude, I came right out of the show eating about that much.
holy shit. So would you say you got a pretty good metabolism, I would assume?
I would say so. Yeah. That's just an ab workout video. I try to change my content up a good bit, but if you want some show pictures, they're further down. Like I think that one on the right has some oh, that was my transformation from off season.
well, you weren't that like your body fat didn't look that you probably felt like pretty heavy, but your body fat didn't
Yeah.
look bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like crap, and I definitely knew I was well above stage weight. I mean, to be 45 pounds above stage weight, but see, that was finals, so I was definitely fuller, not quite as sharp.
Yeah, you were, yeah. Because the
We
prejudging,
were just trying to chase that full look, you know.
but
But
they didn't like it as much as the shredded look.
they didn't. So I was like, well, geez, I could have played to my strength because I didn't even, you know, we didn't even go really hard with trying to be dry at all. We were just kind of cruising in, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's the hard part because sometimes you come in full and it's like coming harder. You come in drier and it's like coming bigger. So
yeah, I just hate the way I can't even pose if I'm flat, man. If I'm too flat, I feel like there's just no life to my muscles. Like I just can't even hit the poses well. So I
I
felt good there because that was finals.
oh, this is finals too.
Yeah, the
Oh,
further down you should be able to see prejudging. Just keep going down. There, those shots right there are all from prejudging.
Oh
oh,
yeah, you definitely see a
holy
difference.
shit! Yeah,
It was
you,
a better look. It was a much better look, I think.
I kind of agree with the judges, bro. You look,
Yeah,
that look crazy.
you look fucking diced, but
yeah.
your muscles aren't
I
like
think that was
you're
it.
like a perfect. Like you still have a good fullness to you. You're not
Mm.
overly full, but
You still got to get pop.
I appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
it
I
almost
think it
makes you look
was.
bigger.
Yeah,
It's
honestly,
crazy.
yeah, I thought so too. It was like everything popped better. So I think it definitely was. We played it kind of safe for prejudging, but I mean, we didn't do any diuretics or anything. So I mean, it was that was just kind of our playing it safe, not going too hard look. But you can see in like some of my check-in pictures, I was way harder.
Yeah, I
But
mean, you
But for
were
you to only slip one placing, I mean, I don't think that was too bad of a risk to take. You know,
I agree. I
it,
agree.
it, it wasn't like something I would regret. I was like, okay, well, learn from that. But you still, like you said, placing top five in a show like that was outstanding, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, all season I was like, dang, I should have done that show. Oh my gosh, I should have done Chicago. I should have done New York and all these other
yeah
shows.
for sure.
But I had committed to Texas this year, like 2 years ago when I went pro. That was what I decided back then. So I just decided to stick to the commitment, you know.
Oh, holy shit! It's a different man.
That was spring of 2020
Holy shit!
to this past year. It was a few years. That
Yeah,
was my low point in bodybuilding during COVID when the dude that was a interesting time in my life.
that was tough, man. I know people always say don't rush the size and don't try to get too big, but a lot of issues can be solved with adding more tissue, right? It's like that fullness, flat tissue. If you just
Oh
have a
yeah,
shit ton of tissue, you can come in on the flat side and still be big and full and stuff like that. So I think
absolutely.
I think muscle solves most problems, man. Usually,
It does.
you know.
I have to agree with you, bro, for sure. You just got to get the size on sometimes by whatever means.
Facts. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest and leanest I've seen Paul.
Dude, that side leg looks awesome.
It does. And
Where the hammy
I feel like your legs came up. I feel like
Yeah,
off season, your legs were always big, but like as you diet down, they usually flatten out more. And
I'm
that's
sick. Definitely had Ultimate a lot better this year.
good work. Good shit. Let me see.
What do you weigh right now, Paul?
Woke up at 251 today, but
Nice.
I've been hovering around 250, 251 for the past like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, 254 to 250.
That's solid, dude. How tall
I
are
mean,
you?
5'8".
Okay. Yeah, that's really good weight.
but one thing I'll say about Paul and Joe is in pictures don't do them justice. Like in person, like I'll see them in pictures and I'll see them in person. I'm like, it's like two different people, but sometimes it just doesn't translate that way. Like they look like way bigger in person, like size wise.
Well, you
Even
two guys already look big in pictures, so
You know, or like that. You know, like either someone looks really good in pictures and huge, or they don't. You know what I mean, and they look better in person. Some people are photogenic, and some aren't.
fact. A lot of the social media people, like they're good with the angles too. So if you go with the angles and lighting, and you go to the proper gyms with certain down lighting and stuff, you can make yourself look, insane. You guys be just posted in natural light usually at
Yeah,
FNP.
Yeah.
It's like it's not really good lighting. Like you guys technically posing bad lighting, you
yeah,
know.
pretty
That's
good.
the best way to do it.
Yeah, but
If you look good in
good and
shitty
bad
lighting,
lighting.
imagine.
I
Yeah,
hate
you'll
when
look
clients
awesome in good lighting.
exactly. I hate when clients send me pictures and they're like, "Oh, it's the lighting." I'm like, I get what you're saying, but I mean, you're just not in shape. I mean, regardless of the lighting, you know.
See, my kitchen lighting is almost too good. Sometimes I worry with my coach. I'm like, "Are you sure we're lean enough?" Like, I'm worried my lighting's looking too good.
That kitchen light too good. Hey Joe,
That's wild, Joe.
this is recent, right?
So the when I'm on the left, that's 2020. So that was my COVID year. But
Holy
I
shit.
was all natty there. I was getting ready for my first show ever. And then on the right was after USA's.
Dude, that's wild. That's
This is how
crazy.
the fact that you look like this in 2020, nobody would have been like, this is gonna be Mr. USA in 2020.
Right. That's crazy, man.
Imagine if you give you a handshake, hey, I'm gonna be Mr. USA in
To be
2020.
like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Like,
big
good luck.
laugh.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
You got it, buddy.
Well, you know, there are those kids in the gym that say, "Oh, I'm going pro, blah blah," and in your head, you're like, "Yeah, right." Well, some of them will.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think about that all the time, bro. I really do. Who you're talking to may be the next like big thing.
For sure.
well, that's why I always say, don't ask me. Like, don't be like, hey, do you think I have the genetics to like be a good bodybuilder? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, who
Yeah,
cares what I think? Like, it's irrelevant. You know? Are you gonna stop? If I tell you no, are you gonna be like, oh, let me pack my bags and quit? Like, you know, I
Yeah,
think,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I think it's irrelevant, really. You know?
I agree. Dude, you're a house, Joe.
Yeah, that's
What happened?
heavy.
I said you're a house.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to build this damn house.
That'd be crazy. But
I'm sitting at a 281 this morning.
holy shit.
I know it doesn't feel good, dude. I was in the 280s last year, and I
Fuck,
didn't like
dog, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. Like, you know,
I'm like, I'm excited to be that big again, but at the same time, I'm not excited to feel that way again.
you know what?
But-
So I hit the 270s last year, or well, yeah, last year, and or the previous off season, sorry, and I felt pretty much like I do right now, but when I got to the 270s again the second time around, I felt fine. It was the extra 10 pounds I've added on top of that. So,
Yeah,
but with
yeah.
every
You
like
touch
5, 10
me,
pounds you add, you feel just as shitty. And then say I go back down and come back up and I see 280 again, I'll feel normal. It's just learning how to be that new weight that you've never been before.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. It's like anytime you touch new weight and just settle into it, once you settle in, you're good. But it's reaching those new levels of weight.
Yeah, it's like hitting the PR too. Like the first time you squat like 6 plates, you feel like you feel like your central nervous system shot to shit.
Yeah.
But then you do it again a couple more times, like, oh, it's fine. I don't need to wrap up today.
Man, yo, putting on like your socks and shoes, that shit,
Oh my god.
I can't breathe, bro. Like I run out of breath. Like I have to like time it and like try to make one attempt. If I don't get the attempt, I gotta relax, catch my breath.
I know, dude.
It's ridiculous. I'll get out of the shower and try to dry my body, right? I can't even freaking throw the towel over my back. I'm like, oh, and I'll start breathing all heavy and lean over the counter before I leave the bathroom.
I feel like
Crazy things we do, man.
the rebound sometimes feels worse because the weight accumulated so quick. Whereas,
Yeah.
you know, whereas you have the health phase, you kind of get used to the weight, then you have your off season. It doesn't really get that hard to like maybe the last 3-4 weeks of off season when you're your heaviest all time. That gets a little crazy. But then it works because you know you're about to diet. So once you start dieting, you feel better, you know. But
Yeah.
within 6 weeks, right? I think this is week 7 we're on. I think we got one more week of rebound. Within 6 weeks, you're like pretty much at your off season weight, because this was my off season weight last year, probably a little bit heavier actually. And you did that in 6 weeks, so you're like, it's like that's too much for your body to catch up. You know, it's just like you feel so uncomfortable because you just have.
I was chilling. It was these last like 10, 15 pounds, man. At first, I was like, man, it's a breeze. And then the one morning, I woke up like, that was kind of fucking hard to throw myself up, like to get out of bed. What the fuck?
Holy shit. I mean, because okay, realistically, at 5'8", mid 280s, that's like, because I'm 5'11", so that will be more like me being like 315 probably.
Yeah.
You know? If I was, that's every inch is like 10 pounds, I would say, right? So 80,
Yeah.
90, yeah, that would be like me being 315, and at 315, I'm not gonna feel too good, man. You know.
Yeah.
So
Hey, you know what though? I've seen Paul push too. Paul's very similar in height to me. I've
yeah.
seen that man touch 300 pounds, bro. So I'm like, okay, fucking Paul do it, I can do it.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the worst. I remember taking a shower. I hated it. I was breathing so hard. I was contemplating life. Like, why the fuck am I doing this? That was it.
No,
Because you
Paul.
wanted bigger legs, bro. Look what happened.
Hey, listen, Paul gets big. Like, I'll be around a lot of pros. There's not a lot of people like width wise and size wise Paul size, right? You might have some taller guys maybe, but like there's not a lot of people as like big as Paul in the off season. Like, think about it, 300 pounds at 5'8", that's not like a regular occurrence. You
That's
got Nick
insane.
Walker, and
Still,
that's yeah,
still rocking 6 packs.
yeah, exactly, and he's still in good shape. And Paul,
Yeah.
you gotta turn your phones. Are you on your phone? Can you mind
Yeah.
turning
Oh,
if you can do it?
yeah.
But I wanted to go over this. It was in Spain, I believe, right, or Italy? Italy,
This past weekend was Spain.
Spain
I'm
show.
having a hard time figuring this show out.
Listen, man.
Dude, I did not agree at all.
I honestly like. Don't get me wrong. I think Regan looked like really good, but I don't think there was anything drastic that happened that Nathan should have lost. If I'm being completely honest.
No,
Yeah, man.
Especially when they got a perfect score last week.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand how that makes sense.
Here's
it
the thing,
doesn't,
right?
bro.
Here's the thing. Regan came in fuller. I don't think he was in better condition. I think he was fuller.
He
Sometimes
was
fuller,
exactly.
sometimes fuller can make certain body parts look better. Now, Nathan also came in fuller, but Nathan is still a lot more peeled than Regan, you know. So
Well, look at his legs.
Bo, I didn't even realize his legs were that big. I thought Regan would have better legs, but Nathan's legs, not only are they like separated and like hard, they're actually like, this is the biggest I've seen his legs. I've never
Bro,
seen.
look at the detail in his adductors.
It's insane. It's insane. And now people are going as far as say he lost because of his lower back. You see, he has knots in his lower back.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but he's always had.
Or he had that in the last show.
Yeah, I mean, it does look worse here, but from what I've seen, he's always had that to a certain point. And I remember there were rumors about him like shooting his erectors. I'm like, I don't think
Why would you shoot your erectors?
I don't get that. And honestly, like, and if you look at it, it doesn't look like better. If anything, it looks worse. So I think him and his coach have the common sense to be like, if they were doing that, they would be like, this is not working. So let's stop doing it. I
I
don't.
highly doubt he shot his erectors. I mean, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I
But I
mean,
mean,
Yeah,
it looks like it right there, but
it,
I don't know why you would.
I don't think I've heard people shooting like their mid back and shit. I don't agree with that because you would have less separation, right? Because his back is
Right.
shredded. But lower back, I don't see the benefits. You can't make your erectors look big with oil. Like it just doesn't work that way. Your arms, your shoulders, but not your erectors. So I highly doubt that. I know Nathan could be a wild guy, but I don't think he's that wild, man.
I don't think so. I do think the only thing Reagan maybe beat him from was the back shots, but like everything else, man,
Yeah.
all Nathan.
Here's the thing too, like Regan is such a cool guy. We all like Regan. Everybody likes Regan. So it's almost like
Yeah, we don't want him to lose.
yeah, it's like we almost I feel like more people were rooting for him. Like I'm rooting for I mean, it's bodybuilding. I'm rooting for anybody who's better to win. But still, like I like Regan to the point that I'm happy he went to the O. I think everybody wanted to see him at the O. But like
Yeah.
not in this fashion because you don't want it to be like you didn't deserve to be there.
Well, it always sucks too when it's like it's the conversation of, well, Nathan won last weekend and Reagan has such a good following, and Nathan may not even be able to get a visa. So we obviously Reagan in the Olympia. You always have to wonder that, but it sucks to think that, you know.
But like, look at that shot right there. Look at the detail and fullness in like Nathan's front,
Just nasty,
look at
dude.
his chest, his fullness. Like that's
Yeah.
just. I mean, it's like
I mean,
that's not. He's not beating that.
no. I mean, it looks like he's beating him pretty handily in these shots.
Yeah, yeah, every shot. Like you said, I think the only shot that I would give him, and even the back lat spread's a little arguable because I think the thickness of his back is really good.
Look at the
But
glute.
I think the back double bicep may go to Regan, and maybe that one, maybe.
I think the lat spread is pretty close, but honestly, looking at Nathan's glutes, I might get okay, but we can got that more erectors and low back.
I'm saying if he got anything, it's just the two back shots only.
Yeah,
and that's pretty close.
Yeah, I would say
because he does have some crazy like how Regan does have like that crazy like adductors touching on that shot with his legs so spread, that X-frame look, the dugout hammies.
He has shredded glutes, but he doesn't really squeeze his glutes. You know, because when he's transitioning and he squeezes it, his glutes, it actually does look like on par with Nathan's, but he just poses differently. He sticks his butt out slightly, so he loses lines.
I worked with Joey Belt, and he tried to get me to do that same thing.
I don't like
at first, just to see how it looked on me, and it was super awkward, and I didn't like it.
Yeah,
but what it made my adductors look like, it was pretty nuts. The whole shot looked different. Like my waist looked smaller, my back looked bigger, but I hated the way it made my glutes look.
And it feels so uncomfortable to do it that way.
It's extremely uncomfortable.
I actually tried it that way because I've seen a couple people. My glutes can get hard, but I don't feel like they look like Joe's. They don't get like shredded all the way up from the hips all the way down. So I was like, what if I hit it like some of these other guys? And I tried it, and you're right. Your waist does look small, your back looks accentuated, and your adductors look fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my glutes look funky as hell. And I felt so uncomfortable. I'm like, if I try to hit this on stage, if I'm tired or anything, it's gonna look so uncomfortable and shaky. So back in my head, I'm like, I don't think I don't think it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? But
I think it worked for somebody that's not lacking an outer sweep. If you want your legs to touch like that, you're gonna take away from your outer sweep, I think, and take away from that width of your legs, so the X-frame on the bottom.
Yeah.
But then like you see Nathan, like he'll spread his legs out, and but you're seeing it bring his glutes in. So I think it's give and take. Yeah. Or would you rather show? Because you can always show your like that shot. You can see the striated glutes on Regan right there.
Yeah, we can still see it on the side. But if you see Nick Walker, he does it in a way that he doesn't flex his glutes all the way, so he shows more adductor, but he doesn't pop his butt out like back. It's basically he takes a step, or like Roman takes a step and then slightly, like almost like about to flex, and leave it. So I tried that too, and that works. But your glutes have to be peeled, because if your glutes aren't peeled, they're gonna look kind of soft because you're not flexing it. So you kind of take a step back and you flex it like 30%. And then your adductors still, because the harder you squeeze it, the more you hide your adductors, right? You squeeze your butt all the way, you completely hide your adductors. And your hamstrings actually don't look as peeled. And then if you flex your hamstrings and then slightly flex your glutes, your hamstring look like crazy peeled, but your glutes look a little softer. So there's no right way to do it, really. Like whatever helps your body. I think Joe, with your glutes, you could probably pull that off with I was
gonna say, at the California, I spread my legs farther and squeezed my glutes harder, and so they're crazy striated. But then for the USA's, I did a little bit of an in between where there's a bit of hardness and striations in my glutes, but my legs weren't near as far apart, so it looked looked a little better.
That was perfect, and there was nobody in that lineup that had like glutes like yours, so it worked. Maybe if you had somebody who had like Derek Lunsford glutes, then maybe.
Yeah, no, I definitely got the edge on Eric with that shot.
Yeah, because his glutes don't get striated. They get
Yeah,
they're lean, but they don't get striated.
that's what I'm
Who
saying.
was
Like he was
who
definitely.
was
Huh?
sorry? Who was second in the supers at that show?
Eric Janicki. You
Can't
know who that
remember.
is?
I'll look him up. You guys are talking about him. I feel like I
I could
remember, but
pull him up right here, because he actually
oh
wasn't.
no, yeah, that's the guy that's got the big following.
Yeah.
Exactly. He did the social media first, and then now he's getting to bodybuilding. Like I knew he was going to be legit because I could see it. I could see the body parts. It's just he needs some help like posing and stuff like that because this is not his sport. He doesn't follow the sport. Like he doesn't really know a lot about the sport. I actually want to have him on a podcast. My only thing is that I don't think he follows the sport, so I don't think he knows about these shows and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
I think
He's
he's
a
a
cool
guy,
guy. Though.
huh?
He's a cool guy. Easy to talk to.
He's a very cool guy. I think he was a trainer and stuff like he's like a regular guy who just got as big as a pro bodybuilder, and it's like, well, I might as well step on stage, but I'm gonna look like this shit. So he's definitely he's gonna turn pro. He's gonna turn pro for sure. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean he's got some round muscles, that's for sure, dude. Like especially
Crazy
for a white
shoulder.
guy.
That shoulder to tricep roundness, crazy.
Yeah.
well, seeing him walk around the gym is pretty, and he's tall too. The first time I
Right.
met him, right, it was like maybe 2 years ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do classic," and I'm like, bro, I don't
No
think
way.
I don't think you fully understand the sport. Like, you're bigger than me. Like, I'm a super, and you're bigger than me. How the hell are you gonna do classic? But he sucked down, and he did one classic show, and obviously he said never again because he had to he lost all his muscle. That just wasn't it didn't it wasn't conducive to anything.
Yeah, this guy's not making the classic cutoff for sure.
Yeah, I just don't think because maybe classic seems more marketable, but I don't think he fully
I think it
understood.
is these days.
I think so.
These fitness guys just want to do classic but they also, it's almost like they think that you can only hit those classic kind of poses if you're classic physique, but really you can hit them in open.
Facts. I think my physique resembles some classic lines, just like at a bigger size, and I like it that way. I like that look.
100%.
But
You have that classic shape because you've got a crazy X frame, dude.
Thank you, man. I mean, I feel like you see, like I feel like Cedric did that in a great way. He was huge, but he had like some classic posing, some classic lines. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I think you can do both. If you want to, I think you can do both. But yeah, he has a great physique. If he wants to turn pro, he'll turn pro. No problem. I think he could have probably turned pro this year. I don't know if he would have beat Ken. I don't think he would have beat Ken, but because Ken won, I think Ken is more complete.
Did somebody coach him or did he do his own prep or?
He was coached by Callum, Callum from the UK, but his diet looks a little flexible from what he posts. So I don't know how closely it was, but I do know Callum coaches him. Well, a team, Callum, a team pro coach, and
I've seen it before. It sounds familiar, yeah. So I'm sure his coach knew what he was doing.
yeah, his coach. He was bursting full in finals, bursting full. But Joe, I don't even know if Joe was full, but Joe's big, so Joe just has the muscle mass. So it was irrelevant if Joe was full or not. Joe's.
I was definitely way more full for finals.
Uh-huh.
We played it safe though for the prejudge.
Compton
Did you
doesn't like
guys have a 2-day show? Was it a 2-day show or a 1-day show?
Yeah, it was 2 days.
Okay, same for us.
I don't like the 2-day shows, man.
It was interesting. That was my first time ever doing a 2-day thing.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool though to see what the you know how like the process leading up to stage, you like carb up, right? And then to see what your body looks like the next day, it almost looks way better because you had that like refeed in a sense. And then on top of that, though, because your body's a furnace, like as the day goes on, you'll flatten out. So you have to like I was getting more water on the second day. I was getting more carbs just to keep me going because it was definitely different than I ever like knew of that process being.
Yeah, that was the same for us. It was I mean, I hated having the nerves from waiting after prejudging Friday, wondering what's going to happen all the way to the
That
final
does suck,
Saturday.
dude. I'm not gonna lie.
But
That does
I
suck.
agree with you though. Like you can definitely bring a really awesome look because I was blasting full at finals of USA's compared to I was so flat the morning of prejudging comparatively. So it is pretty cool to watch the body fill out and stay tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I remember seeing my pictures the next morning that I sent to my coach, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I actually liked what I looked like. And then he wanted to fill me out more. I was like, "Okay, I'm all for it." You know,
Yeah.
like, damn, I have room to go. So
Compton always errs to the side of condition over fullness, and let's be real, like it always works. I mean, condition on condition wins. You know, condition wins. So there's times. I mean, if you're a hottie, you can sacrifice condition, but most of the time you play it to the side of condition. It's not better, you know, unless you do what I did and just completely disregard your fullness for like 12 weeks. Then 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 you gotta be then you gotta fill out a little more. But yeah, but Eric is also super athletic. Like I see some of the stuff he does in the gym, and I'm like, at that size, to sprint and like jump off of things and do box jumps or all these things, I'm like, listen, I'll be scared as fuck. And as you get heavier, you might have to pull back from some of the athletic stuff because holy shit, you know what I'm saying? Imagine sprinting like that in sand, in
Bro, I'd literally tear my Achilles right now.
So my knee
I'm tearing my shit looking at him run, bro.
Well, he told me he pulled a hammy at one point. I was like, I could see that. I could definitely see hamstrings being pulled from running at 300 pounds. But
that doesn't surprise me at all.
In 2021, my brother, I wasn't even close to as heavy as I am now. I was probably like maybe 230, 240. We were in Las Vegas, and my younger brother, he was like 160 pounds. He's like, I bet you I'm way faster than you now since you're all heavy. I was like, shut the fuck up. And so I raced him down the hallway, and both my hammies gave, bro. Like,
holy shit.
Like 10 paces in, just pop, pop. I was like, fuck.
Hey man, you a pro now. No more. You can't.
I don't do no. I was like, go ahead, bro. You can have it. I don't give a fuck.
Bro,
I'm strong as fuck.
I'm not. Okay, I already stopped arm wrestling, but like at one point, I would do it for like if somebody wanted to take a picture like that or something, I would do it. But I was in Mexico on vacation, and the guy said, "Look, can I get a?" No, he said, "Can we arm wrestle?" I said, "Absolutely not. I'm not arm wrestling anybody. No offense." And
I hate that question so much
because it means nothing. But then he was like, "Okay, can we just take a picture? Tell me how we would go to take a picture." I'm looking at the camera. This guy goes to slam my arm.
Oh my god!
Like, hey, whoa! That's how you break an arm, tear a bicep. So from then on, I'm not even grabbing hands anymore. If we're not
Dude,
any arm wrestling pictures.
That's
that something similar happened to me.
Oh yeah, is the same thing happened to you?
Well, it was after Texas Pro. We're dropping off the rental car, and one of the rental car guys for Enterprise was like all hyped up. I don't know if he was on something or what, but he was like, "Oh, look at this guy." Oh, like I thought he was going in to like bro hug me or whatever. And I was like, all right, this is weird, but I do like this. And he takes my arm and he rips me like that.
Oh no.
He's like, we're gonna wrestle, and literally like pulled my biceps so hard. I was like, dude, don't do that. That's so dumb. Like I'm dry right after a show. That's the easiest way I could have just jolted and torn my bicep. Like people don't realize how easy that happens for us with all the wear and tear.
Well, it's so easy. It's not even funny. It's so easy.
But they think it's funny because they're like, oh, this big tough guy, I'm gonna joke around with him or arm wrestle him or whatever. And it's like it doesn't work like that. But they don't general population just doesn't get it.
I think it's funny until you slap the shit out of them, and then it's not funny no more.
I feel like if you're at the end of prep and you're all moody and stuff like that, that might be the time that you might slap somebody for that shit.
Absolutely.
No doubt, dude.
But I did want to break down. I want to break down this show post for post, basically. You guys can see the IG post, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with Paul. Who you think got the most muscular?
Definitely Nathan.
Definitely Nate. That's one to Nate. How about the abs and thighs?
Nathan.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. Actually, each pose we could do all of y'all for each pose. So, what you got? What you got, Jordan, for most muscular?
I have to agree, dude. Nathan's just got such full round shoulders and chest.
Yeah.
And he's just, dude, he's peeled. It makes Reagan look flatter, even though Reagan's bigger overall. He's just so much more bubbly than him.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's the graininess he has, you can see through the picture alone, you know.
You can see.
Imagine a person.
How about you, Joe?
I agree with both of them. Like he said, that fullness. It's even bringing out like deeper detail in like his chest and shoulders. Like his striations are crazy, and having that roundness to his muscle and everything. It's like quality.
Yeah,
There's no hole.
I would have to agree. And then abs and thighs. We would start with Paul.
Nathan.
Definitely. I could see.
Yeah, I got Nathan as well.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say Nathan. I mean, look at his flare of the lats. How much bigger he looks just because of that. He looks prettier.
His abs are in. There's no.
The only thing with Nathan is the same problem I have is he has those obliques sometimes.
He does have,
but his waist is still so small that it doesn't really matter.
It's funny because his upper waist is smaller than his lower waist, which is kind of strange.
Right.
But like his waist actually gets wider at the bottom, at the lower obliques, right? It's a little strange because usually, like, I know my waist kind of tapers into my hips, but his kind of comes down and then his lower obliques pop out a little bit.
That's kind of how my waist does too, honestly.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have to really focus on trying to crunch down my obliques and my ab and thigh.
But when you hit your front double, you pull up, right? You don't flex it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I extend up for that one.
Because sometimes it could it's like when you have a small waist, it's funny because when you have a small waist, sometimes when you crunch down on it, it's like your waist has nowhere to go, and sometimes the obliques kind of pop out. But
right.
Side tricep, who you guys got?
You say Nathan. Look how much wider he looks. The way he spins it, his shoulders are huge, kept out.
Side leg is pretty dug out.
Yeah, that's night and day. I mean, I feel like Nathan wins both side shots easy just because he really makes Reagan look soft from the side in these shots. I feel like.
I think, and Joe, you got Nate right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Okay,
maybe 2 shots.
Let's make this easy. I think it's safe to say we got Nate on everything besides the back shots.
Yeah,
and that's even close.
Yeah, that one's very close because his back lat is still really good. His mid back and the shape of his lats and his look how much more his delts pop from the back, like his rear delts.
Yeah. How come they're not leaning back? I feel like the last spread, your back looks a lot wider when you like I noticed the further I lean back, the wider I look, but they're kind of standing straight up.
I was assuming they weren't completing the shot. I thought they just didn't pull back for the shot yet.
That's what it looks like when you round it and you didn't.
Yeah, Paul used to do it like that.
Oh yeah, like standing straight up.
Yeah.
I think some people could look wide like that, but it depends where you have your muscle. If you have a bunch of erectors, crazy erectors, I think that could look because that's why Regans look good because the erectors are huge.
You
Yeah.
know, the Fuad was talking about that on his podcast on one of them, like that. When
Uh-huh.
you do it like that, the shot's not complete. You're
Uh,
supposed to tilt back slightly.
I think so. I think with the front double, like Bonac leans back and it looks good because his back is so thick. If I lean back on the back double, my back disappears. So I personally can't lean back on the back double.
Me and Bonac have that similar lat insertion. So
Facts.
I lean back too because what it does is
You're more
because you guys have that crazy that like
taper.
exaggerated like flare to your lats because they're higher.
Yeah.
So for us, it looks like our lats aren't that wide and our waist looks a little thicker. So when we tilt it back,
It
it
looks
gives that illusion. It looks like a Dorito.
yeah. That's a good example.
Definitely works for making the waist look smaller. Like especially for my lat spread, I try to send my hips way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that worked. Okay, so let's say the judges did mark Nathan down for these I don't know what to call this. These adhesions. What the hell do you call that shit? I don't know what
I
it is.
mean, they look like just knots. I
Scoliosis.
mean, like, what if the muscles just knotted up? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, let's say they did mark him down. Well, he was losing his pose anyway, so it makes no difference, right?
Right,
Because you
right.
can't see it in the last spread much. And even if he lost the last spread and he lost this one as well, well, that's the only time you can see the lumps. So I don't think it affects the scoring because he already lost the poses.
Yeah,
So
I think Reagan wins both the back poses. Plus, it's the only poses he seems to match conditioning with Nathan
yeah,
is
yeah.
back shots.
The back and the hamstrings. His back has detail even off season. So yeah, side chest, Nathan, shoulder, arm, chest.
Nathan by a mile.
Yeah, thigh, leg, arms. Yeah, it's not even close to it. Even forearms look big. I think. Oh, last spread. Oh, Nathan has a really good. I didn't realize how. Look at his legs, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think his legs were ever this big. Am I tripping? I feel like his legs are way bigger.
They look rounder and fuller. Yeah.
Yeah, he even has calves now. He didn't have calves before, so he's been working. I mean, his bicep was torn, but I don't even I don't see any difference. I think. Oh, we lost Joe.
Yeah. I wondered what happened.
Probably lost connection. But yeah, he I've
It almost makes Reagan's leg look flat to look at that next to Nathan. I mean, it's like such an exaggerated sweep to the waist compared to Reagan.
It
that's
It's
really
crazy.
is.
yeah that's pretty freaky because I felt like lower body was kind of like his weakness for a while. Let me see if Joe could pop back in. I don't see his thing. I'll text him if anything. Yeah, but I feel like his legs were known to be like kind of like his weakness, in comparison to everything else. But this is looking like a strength, man. His legs are looking like a strong point at this point.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty
it's
impressive.
wild.
Yeah, he made some gains on his legs, so that's really impressive. We got yeah. So he tore both biceps, which is probably better because they look even. I see a little
Yeah,
more because his biceps used to be long and full, so I think there's a little more gap. But if anything, it looks like better peaks.
yeah. I mean, I think if you didn't know, it wouldn't pop out at you. But I
No.
mean, gosh, look at his arms compared to Reagan's. Like Reagan has no peak at all.
No, we talked about this last time. I think your arms look better when they're higher than parallel, right? Like I think here versus I think my arms look way better here. I think my arms look bigger, more peakier. But some of these guys hold it here. It makes your peak looks less. I think you should flex your forearms hard and hold it like a little higher, personally. But the way Nathan's holding, I feel like if he held his elbows a little higher, I think his, not that I should be telling Nathan how to pose, but I feel like his arms would look even better that way, personally. Would you guys agree or disagree?
I don't know. It's almost I've struggled with that,
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out which one to do, because it's like I lose a little bit of lat when my arms are higher.
For sure, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But it's like if you have a lot of lat from the front, because my lats pop out from the front a lot, so I don't have to try to pop it out. But if you lose more than you're comfortable losing, then it's not worth it. I would say that.
Yeah.
Nathan also has really high lats, so maybe he's trying to make it look lower. You know?
Yeah, I think if he pulls up, he's not gonna have that same curvature in his lat. You know, he's definitely gonna lose some of it.
Oh yeah, I don't think because he has a long waist as well. So if you have high lats and a long waist, I think maybe he's trying to make his lats look lower. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because on a lat spread, even let me see lat spread, you can see his lats, but it's still high. You know, it's still pretty high.
I don't know. Like a lot of people talk about his high lats taken away from his physique, but with him specifically, I just don't have a problem with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, that front lat spread looks sick like that.
I think so too. I also think high lats can be negative, but if you think about everybody who had high lats, they have a really good waist. You know, like the Dennis Wolf. You got Nathan. Even like well, I guess Brandon Curry's lats aren't that high, but
They're
you,
like right in the middle.
huh?
Brandon Curry's lats are like right in the middle of low and high.
Yeah, yeah. But you see guys with high lats, they have some of the best waists. So it's like it's hard to have like a really thick lower back with a really small waist, right? Like you don't see it that often. You know, maybe Flex Wheeler, I guess you could say that. But if you have like a William Bonac back or like a Phil Heath back, it's hard to have like a, you know, like a Derek Lunsford. Oh, Derek Lunsford does it pretty well. But it's hard to have like a Derek Lunsford waist with like a Bonac back. It doesn't always go hand in hand, you know. So
Right, you're right. It's usually one or the other.
yeah, the highlights usually work to keep your waist. Let's call me.
Did you guys see Nathan's reaction after they played some second?
No.
Okay, let me see
He
if I
was
can.
pissed.
Yeah,
Okay, see, I don't mind human emotion. I don't want, you know, people to like even in basketball. I don't like when they get technical fouls for showing emotion. But I will say there's something to be said about sportsmanship. And Regan lost. He gave you a hug, you know, told you some good stuff, you know, good words, and then walked off. So I think he wasn't being disrespectful toward Regan in particular, but I think it comes off because I would feel some kind of way if me and Paul were competing, right? And then I win, and then Paul is like, "What the fuck? Number one, like bullshit. Like, was it?" I'll be like, "Damn, Paul, you doing a lot. You doing a lot over there, Paul." You know, it's like out of respect for me because they are friends. Like, give him a handshake. You can stand there like this if you want, but you know, give him a handshake, and then when you get backstage, you can let your emotions out. But I think on stage, you have to conduct yourself as a professional, and I think
it's one of those things where you say there's a time and a place for everything. You know, that definitely wasn't the time or the place.
exactly.
What did he do?
Let me see if I can. It should be here, right? It should be on here, I think.
They should have it. Yeah, I would say they would. Or maybe it's on Bodybuilders Without Borders, possibly.
Yeah, because Sulio, I think he doesn't like to post things that are controversial. I know Bison tries.
Oh, Bison tries to definitely post it. If it's controversial, they'll always post
it. They love all that stuff, yeah. So they even their pinned posts are controversial. Okay, yeah,
there it is. Yeah,
they definitely got it.
Dude, even just standing there, look at his delts.
Yeah, he looks insane. Listen, like we all can agree that Nathan should have won, but I still feel like still feel like you got to stand there and just sometimes you got to take it on the chin, man. I mean, I've seen Paul take losses that he shouldn't have lost, clearly, and everybody can see that. And Paul just smiles. I mean,
Yep.
it is what it is. You know, he just smiled. Listen, even if the smile looks fake, just smile anyway. He's like, just good job, and just like I said, if not for anything else, out of respect for Regan, you're friends with Regan, you're on the same team, same sponsor, you guys hang out and stuff. You know,
Yeah, I couldn't act that way if especially if my buddy beat me. I would feel like I was disrespecting him. You
exactly.
know.
Maybe if the guy's been taunting you all day and you guys are enemies, maybe then.
Yeah, maybe so. But you still gotta, I guess, I don't know. In a judged sport, I would always worry about the judges remembering that next time.
I think they will, man. I think they will remember it. I think they will.
And that's a big thing that's always said too. You know, you conduct yourself like a professional on stage, because if not, they will remember.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people defended him, but they're defending the wrong argument. They're defending emotion. And like I said, I agree that we have emotion, but there's a time and place that as men, we should be able to control our emotions, right? It's not wrong to be upset or even to cry. We just don't be crying in the middle of like a public restaurant, right? Because
Yeah.
you got to control your emotions to a point. So I think there's a time and a place. You can go back to your hotel room and throw the trophy and punch the wall and cry. It's completely fine. But but I don't think
There was there was I don't know if you guys know this. I lost the overall of the regional show that I did prior to USA's.
Oh
So
wow.
like I was a super heavy and I lost to the light heavy. He's like 45, and the pictures it was like pretty far distance between us.
Mm-hmm.
But like I about dropped out of doing USA's. I remember when I got backstage, I acted normal on the stage, but then I remember I chucked my medal at my bag because I was like, "What the hell is this? I'm not doing USA's. They're gonna stomp me. Like, what am I even thinking going to USA's?" And it almost caused me to quit when I lost that regional show. It was just a political call. But I'm glad I didn't, because I went on and won the overall at USA's like 5 weeks after that.
Boom, yeah.
But some of these local level calls or even pro level calls, dude, are just not the right calls.
Yeah, it happens. It happens to the best of us. So I think it's important to conduct yourself properly, because it might happen to you in the opposite way. You might win you might win a show that
Yeah.
that maybe you shouldn't have won. And do you want the second place guy to chuck his trophy and start waving his hands around? You wouldn't like that very much.
Right. Yeah. So I waited till I got backstage and he didn't see me. I congratulated him. But
Exactly.
Did it undercover.
yeah.
I lost the overall at the Cal, and I went to the guy like, congratulations. We exchanged Instagrams, and he came to the USA as well, and we became friends. It was just that the way I look at it is like, I always look at myself and I'm like, could I have been better? And if the answer is yes, and it should always be yes, then I'm like, I should have been so undeniable that he shouldn't have beat me. That's how I look at things. I'm like, okay, why this guy beat me? I don't think he should have beat me. And everybody's like, I don't think he should have beat you neither, but he was harder in the glutes and ham. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so my glutes and hams have to be so hard that I could never lose because of that again, right? That's how I look at it. Like, it's like a challenge. You have to be better.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with it, could I have been better? Of course. So like you did, you went to USA's better and you won. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's like if they could beat you in any place that the judges could see, then you gotta make sure that nobody beats you in that area the next time.
simple as that, simple as that. So that's really all you can do. So there's no point in show your emotion, then move on. Be emotional about it for a couple of days, and then move on.
Yeah. So I'm curious, who's doing Paul, do you know who's doing the Legion? I know Eric Wood's doing it. He did USA's with me back in 2021.
You know what? Haven't seen the lineup, but I'm sure there's going to be some big names there, because it's going to be the last qualifying event for the O.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I think Justin Rodriguez, no?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's doing it. That's right.
I think so. So I've known Justin before he started competing. He's from the Bronx. And he looked like a power lifter. He was just like huge. He's probably like 5'7", maybe. And he was like 290, huge. At the time he didn't really speak English much. And I'm like, bro, you compete? He said, no, I'm not into that stuff. I'm like, why the hell are you so big, bro? Like, what are you doing? He's like, I like being big. And then randomly, like a year later, after the gym closed down, I see him on stage, and he turned pro like pretty quick. I think he has a lot of potential, man. It seems very inconsistent, you know. And I think it
Yeah,
doesn't help when you change coaches every prep. I don't think that's conducive to peaking if you're with somebody new every time, you know.
I thought he
you
could
got
have
to
made.
find a formula. I mean, dude, you've got to stick with somebody so that they can figure out what the best formula is. Otherwise, you're never going to.
AJ, that's what you said, Paul, right? You said AJ?
No, I said AJ was. I think his best bet.
Yeah, I think AJ was. I mean, that was his best looks ever with AJ, and
100%. It was.
And I believe he only declined was his body was worn out. Like that's it. That's the only reason.
and
I
from
think the reason why they had a fallout was because AJ was telling him from my understanding, what I heard,
to not
was telling
compete,
him to cut the season out, cut the season and go back to growing, because
and
he
he
was
was right.
declining,
And I
and
mean, he was
Justin
right.
didn't want to keep going.
Yeah, listen, I think it's up to you to make the final choice, but your
Absolutely.
coach is your coach for a reason, and he gave you the right advice. So you should be able to say, okay, if you just done a bunch of shows, you got to understand you're not in the right mindset. You might think you are, but you're not. You're not you. You're not the same person that you can't think clearly in that mindset. So you have to be like, this coach can see me from an outside point of view. He can actually see what's going on. Whereas me in my own head, I think I know what's going on, but I don't because I have prep. I have prep brain. So you
But
got to.
even in a health standpoint too, though, like
Mhm.
doing that, being in that condition that long, being on so long, like I'm sure AJ has like a conscious mind, like where he cares too.
Facts.
I think one of AJ's main thing is health. Like that's one of his priorities.
That's what I'm saying.
And listen, Justin is a grown man because when I met him, I had to be like, I don't know, like a teenager, maybe 18, 19. So if he was already damn near 300 pounds, I'm assuming he was already grown. So he got me by at least 10 years, and I'm 30. So I'm assuming he's probably 40, if not old, right?
Yeah, he's definitely at least close to it. He's been. I don't know if he's because I'm sponsored by Condemned Labs, and he worked with us for. He was with them for a long time before I signed on. I don't. He's like kind of back and forth, but I believe he's signed back on with us recently.
Well, yeah, and he's been pro for how long now? He got to have been
He's
pro
been pro a long time.
at least when 2020, at least 2016, maybe. I don't know.
He has an amazing shape. It's just he just doesn't peak right, man.
Bro, I mean, he'll be 2 weeks out and look like he's 8 weeks out, and then boom, come in like in shape. And I'm like,
Yeah,
as impressive as that is, I don't think that's a good thing. Like, what are
yeah.
you doing in these 2 weeks to lose 20 pounds? I don't think you can peak properly if there's that drastic of a change. That means, are you holding 20 pounds of water? If you are, what are you doing to hold 20 pounds of water? Maybe you should
Yeah,
stay,
for real.
maybe.
That's
I
got
think
to be
I,
a
I
major
think
problem.
I think he's an extremist, bro. Because I remember there was one time like he was really soft, and
Uh-huh.
he got ready with AJ in a matter of 8 weeks, completely peeled. Like you would have thought he would have had a prep of like 15, 16 weeks, and he like AJ was saying how he was doing an extreme amount of cardio, super low food, like ridiculously low, and he came in and I think took second at whatever show he did.
Yeah, that's
But
not.
he's just very like sporadic. Like, I'm just gonna do this now. Like, what the hell?
I don't think that's good. Yeah, I don't think that's good.
Ah,
I don't think that's a good thing. Who else? Who else did you say was doing the Legion?
John Jewett's doing it.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
shit, that's his open debut, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
That's
like
fucking
that
cool.
guy. I like
he's
John.
appealing for sure, but he's small. I mean, he's going to be one of the smaller guys.
Yeah, I think you're on 230 or so.
No,
But
But
I actually think
because
he's only like
he's a lot
224.
shorter, obviously.
yeah, but okay. But do you think he's gonna be smaller or just shorter?
I
Both.
mean, he's for his height, he's filled out. He's filled out well,
Yeah, that's what I'm.
but
That's what I'm thinking. I think anybody with that amount of condition, fullness, and just peaking that well is gonna do well. But it depends who shows up, man. It depends who shows up, really.
his look though right now is way better than when he sucks down for 212.
Yeah, he looks pretty big, man. But I mean, he's by himself, right? So I mean,
That's my favorite shot he does is that hands on hips.
yeah, he got good legs too. But he looks really impressive, man. I gotta be honest with you. He has good
Yeah.
arms, good shoulders,
Come on, Levi.
legs. Yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive. Even his, I don't know if his waist is tiny, but his waist looks good. He has a good waist. You
His
know.
side shots too. His hammy hang on the side shots are fucking insane.
Oh yeah. Well, look at
Come on,
the
buddy.
that's pretty good condition, man. And that's not like in like Dragon's Lair lighting, right? Or zoo culture lighting. That's in the damn his backyard or some forest of some sort. Some park.
Some forest.
I wondered about this. I was like, what did he go on a hike and then like strip down to his trunks, you know?
He said a fucking forest.
Man's is hardcore. He posing in the damn forest.
There were too many TikTok kids in the gym. He had to go out back.
Yeah, bro. Like,
You know what? I think I'm gonna do that my next prep. I'm gonna just pull up to some park or something like that and just start posing.
you know what I never had in me to do? Like, you ever seen those dudes that like they'll do their prep, they'll do their show, and then they go to like some like romantic ass beach looking area and get in their trunks and shit, bro. I'm like, what? Who the fuck do you feel the need to do that shit for?
Yeah,
What the hell?
go to the damn like you go to Dubai, go to the desert, and just start posing in the damn sand and shit.
Yeah, man. I'm like, dude, you're taking this shit too serious. What the fuck is this?
Oh man, that takes a lot of prep. I like John though. He's super knowledgeable. He coaches himself, but he has eyes on him. I know he has, Chris Tuttle that keeps an eye on him. He has the I forget the other guy's name, but like his business partner, he's also a coach. So I think it can be done, but you got to have some set of eyes on you because you can't trust your own eye 2 weeks out.
Yeah, him and Chris tells me because Chris coaches me, and I
Oh,
know they bounce a bunch of stuff off of each other.
oh shit! I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Chris coaches you. He seems to be doing really well with the coaching.
Dude, I'm so glad I started with him. So we've been going since January of 2020,
Uh-huh.
and I don't see myself leaving him, that's for sure.
And he coached you for your pro card as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He is
Yeah.
awesome, dude. He's awesome.
And there's just something dope about like finishing, like getting a job done with the guy who started with you, right? It's like part of me is like I always wanted to get my pro card with Compton because he taught me everything I know. So it's like even me coaching myself is just really Compton coaching me through my own knowledge, right? Like I learn everything from him. You know,
Right, right.
I just always
Yeah,
been
I mean, I've learned so much too from Chris because it's going on 4 years,
yeah,
So it's like I just absorbed so much, and he's a registered dietitian, so he brings the nerd side of things out too sometimes. But
yeah.
it's really cool to learn from a coach for that long.
Yeah, you basically learn and you put like your own spin on it, and you see how how good Matt Jensen is doing, and Matt learned a lot of what he knows from Compton because Compton really gave him the first opportunity, really, so he learned a lot from Compton. So that should tell you how good Compton is, and then Chris Tuttle, man, he's a genius, and then he's worked with a handful of good coaches, so he took his own genius and kind of mixed it with the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually with Matt Jansen prior to Chris. I
Oh, I
it
didn't know
just
that.
wasn't working out with Matt, which I mean, you guys saw the pictures of me in 2020. I wasn't very impressive, so I'm sure he didn't see much potential there. But that's when I went with Chris, and things really kind of took off. Chris gave me a lot of attention right off the bat, so he's good at not really showing much favoritism, I guess.
Well, I think that's important to mention. I always tell people that you don't necessarily need the quote unquote best coach, right? You need the coach that's going to give you the most attention because I could be the greatest coach of all time, but if I give you suboptimal attention, it's irrelevant, right? It doesn't matter how good I am, right? Because I'm focused on. I'm trying to hire. I don't want to. I guess I don't want to make a coach sound bad. So I'm gonna say I was gonna hire like this big name coach, right? And the first time it took him a year to reply to me. I shit you not. He replied to my email a year after, and then I replied again because he was like, "Yeah, I got some slots open, So I guess he didn't have slots open. I have slots open. I hit him up, and he replied like 4 weeks later. And then right then and there, I'm like, okay, this probably isn't gonna work. And I have a friend that was like, he was 2 weeks out, and he didn't get back to him until after the show. And I'm like, well, 2 weeks out is very important for your coach to contact you.
I would say so, yeah.
So I mean,
Gosh.
I consider this guy one of the greatest coaches of all time and one of the first coaches. So that probably narrows it down to like 2 or 3 people. But he just couldn't give the attention because he's focused on his Olympia caliber people, which I guess it's fine. I get it, but you have to understand that don't work with that person because you're gonna pay them, I don't know, 5-6 grand for the year or for the prep, and then you're not gonna really get much out of it. So you're better off going
Yeah.
with somebody who's gonna care. And Compton always cared, regardless of.
Well, see, that's why I don't understand. People see the athlete, like they'll see Nick Walker and they're like, I want that. So I need to go for Matt Jansen. It's like, well, dude, you're like on the lower NPC level. Why are you going for Matt Jansen? Do you really think he's going to give you the kind of attention and care that you need? Or is some more local, lower level coach that's like working with a lot of amateurs, that's probably going to do better for that guy that's really just getting going. You can't just start with like the top of the top.
Facts. Yeah. I've actually wanted to work with Matt. I've had Matt on the podcast, and we've talked about it.
Really?
Yeah, and honestly, I felt like, I mean, I don't think it would have made sense because I don't think, even if he gave me the attention, at the time I felt like I would be wasting his time, because I don't know if he would give me all of his time. But even if he did, it's not really. I don't think he's getting much out of it. You know what I'm saying? So in my head, I was like, oh, I'd rather wait until I'm at a higher level to hire him. But then now I'm like, if I get to the higher level with the coach I'm with, why would I switch to begin with?
Why would you switch? Too many people coach hop, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you just got to give somebody a chance and at least trust them for a while before you make a decision to leave. But so many people are just hopping around,
Mm-hmm.
and it just no. Even the best coach, if you're hopping around from coach to coach, the best coach isn't going to be able to do much with you.
Yeah, Paul's the reason I started working with Justin because I was his coach. And for me, like Justin is so simple. Like the food, the supplements, like everything is so simple. And the less complicated you make something for me, the more likely I am to succeed at it. So I'm like,
Whoa.
honestly, like anybody could do it. It's so simple. The food, like nothing complicated with anything. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I would want to work with anybody else just because I'm like, I see like, for example, like AJ's plans and stuff, how intricate they are. I'm like, damn, like maybe that'll make like, I don't know, maybe a 1-2% difference.
Yeah.
But like I've seen the guys he's worked with, and I'm like, I feel like I get just as peeled So like, like
Bro,
it's less complicated the better for me.
Not only
simplicity,
that,
Bodybuilding isn't that complicated.
huh?
Justin's very attentive. Like he's not the type that like if you do a check-in, he don't get back to you in 24 hours. He'll tell you, text me, bro, I missed it. You know what I mean? Like if I don't get back to you in 24 hours, there's a problem. Or I missed it or whatever. So he's
Facts.
not that type. He's not the type that'll leave you hanging either, you know?
Never. But simplicity for me is everything, bro. I just my brain almost can't compute some of these programs that I see. I'm like, yo, send me your last program with your previous coach, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like sometimes it's like every day there's nothing wrong with it. I just me personally, I wouldn't succeed with that. Every day is a different diet. I'm like, every single day is a different diet. I'm
I
like,
can't
yeah.
do that, man. No way.
Oh,
That's such a pain in the butt.
And then the peak week protocol, like with Justin, there really is no peak week. You kind of go into the show, you probably start carbon up depending on how much you need, either Wednesday or Thursday. Pretty simple. I see peak week protocols, bro, and I'm so like Monday you load up with 1,000 grams of carb and insulin, and then Tuesday you do a fat load and you go zero carb and drop the water, then you reload and then you sodium load. I'm like, holy shit! Like I'm so tired a week out. I don't know if I could physically even get that done, bro. And it's
No,
all the food choices are so different. I'm like, so you're telling me I have to go shopping every day? Like, what are we doing here?
dude, it does
That,
not have to be that complicated. There's no reason to make it that complicated.
bro, it'd be like ghee butter. I'm like, but I don't even know if they have ghee butter at Trader Joe's. I'm like, where would I even get this ghee butter? Like, what? And is ghee butter really gonna make me that much better than I don't know, almond butter? I mean, I don't think it'd be night and day.
Probably not.
Holy shit, bro! I'm like, yeah, that's just too much for me, bro. That's just too much for me. It's just food, man. Chicken and rice, like Justin is like chicken and rice, beef and rice, or beef and potato.
Dude,
That's
it works.
you know,
100%.
he gets me down to fish usually, but I mean, peak week I'm back to chicken and beef usually. That's about it. I mean, for me, I don't eat a lot of carbs, so he just adds a couple of carb meals. That's it, but nothing crazy. He doesn't try to load me and then pull me down with diuretics and then load me back with insulin. And then I'm like, holy, this shit is insane for me.
The craziest shit I did for my
Mhm.
like before finals
Yeah.
was I added one muffin to three of my meals.
Okay. Okay.
That was like the curveball that was thrown at me.
Yeah.
That
To
was
just
it.
chill out. Just to
But
fuck.
everything else was beef and rice or chicken and rice. That's it.
Yeah. But listen, man, I see Paul getting these burgers, and I'm like,
I never got no muffins. Fuck.
Hey dog, I'll take a muffin over a fucking burger any day. Shit, you not fucking burger.
oh,
I would too.
but
Dude, my sweet tooth when I'm in prep, all I want is sweets when I'm in prep. I'd pass on the burger.
yeah, because you're already getting some beef in there, right?
Oh, dude. I mean, honestly, we never went under 300. My lowest low days were 350 grams of carbs, I think.
Oh man,
Fuck, man.
bro.
It was or maybe
Fucking Joe.
that was like training days, but yeah, I never went lower than that.
Bro, my lowest low day was like I think it was 27 grams
70
of carbs.
grams.
Gee.
And 2 hours of cardio.
Half a cup of oatmeal. That's all I got.
Yeah, y'all would hate me. My cardio maxed out at like 2 sessions of 20 minutes.
Bro, I was
It
at
was
100
like,
minutes.
dude,
Bro,
I don't know. My coach literally there were several check-ins in a row where his response was, we have this prep by the balls, right? Like it was just everything was so smooth with food and everything and being able to mitigate my fatigue and sleeping so well. But we're really conservative with a lot of like dosages and stuff. And so my body always feels healthy. I sleep super well and we don't do anything crazy, but I have a much harder time growing. But getting in shape for a show is like the easiest thing for me comparatively.
I'm completely opposite. I suffer hard when I get ready for shows. But it's one of those things I can just do it. Obviously, I think anybody can really starve,
yeah.
But when it comes to the off season, I don't feel like I have to do like anything crazy as far as like super high amounts of food and stuff like that to put on tissue. So I
Dude, I
thrive in the
was
off season, but coming down, that's where I hurt.
I'm with,
bro, this
I'm
last
with
off season I was struggling so bad. Like I remember so many days sitting over the sink with my meal just after like 45 minutes straight of trying to get it down. And just like there was a couple times it came up all in the sink. I had to use the food processor to get it down. I'm like, do I eat again or what do I do?
man.
That's how it is for me, bro. It's I have to eat a lot.
You're with Paul. You and Paul got a similar approach and metabolism, and then me and Joe are in the same boat. Because what you just named was basically my off season last year. My off season was two. I was doing 40 minutes of cardio 4 times a week, and then I was at 350 to 400 carbs a day, and that was my off season. And I got up to 300 pounds. And you're telling me that's what you did for prep? So
That's crazy.
I'm like, this is
That's crazy.
that's
That's kind of where I'm at too. I'm only at 35 minutes of cardio. This is the first week I've done 35 minutes, but I've been 30 the whole way through.
damn. But
Carbs carbs are fairly high too, about 250 to 300.
but it's still hard for you guys on the opposite end. Because
Yeah,
off season, when you're suffering, me and Joe are, I mean, okay, I would say with Compton, the last 4 weeks of off season is hard probably. Like right before the prep, the food is a lot, but it's not as much as you. It's not that hard. You just have to
Yeah,
be.
bro. Like you feel like sick to your stomach full, but it's not
Yeah.
like I can't get the food down. I can get it down.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't have a problem getting down. It's more timing. If I miss the time or miss a meal to make
Yeah.
it up, that's what becomes challenging. Because now I'm going to bed, because I can eat 2 meals back to back, but my stomach just doesn't like it. But I can do it, So you're eating 2 pounds of rice back to back is not good.
But like yesterday, I slept in because I needed to,
Yeah,
and we have 7 meals with Justin, right?
yeah.
So that last meal of the night, I made this giant fucking shake. It was like 1,400 calories worth. It was
Yeah.
down it.
That's no. What I do is that, like, let's say driving back from the gym, let's say it's 8 o'clock. I'll take a gummy, like a THC gummy. I go shower. I go shower. Let's say it's 9:30. I edit like a video or two. Now it's 10:30. Now it kicked in. I literally go make my meal. Once I finish making my meal, I'm heating up the other meal. So now I'm sitting down eating the meal, watching a movie with the girl, and then once I'm done, I go get the other meal. Boom, and start eating the other meal. And I could never do this like midday. Like I don't think
Yeah,
I
it has to
can.
be at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's the only time I can do that. Like midday, I couldn't eat. That's 24 ounces of rice. I can't eat that shit midday. But at night, it's different. You get a gummy in you. You relax. You watching a movie. I don't even realize I'm eating. I'm just kind of like, I'm eating. I'm watching the movie, and then the next thing you know, the food is gone, and I'm still kind of hungry if I'm being honest. So I can get that done at night. So it's not off season. Definitely isn't hard for me. Pre-count, on the other hand, the first 6 weeks is fun, but once you get to that 2 hours of cardio, my carbs with Justin got to like maybe 50 carbs a day, so something to 30 to 50. When I did my own prep, I wanted to have like refeed days, like higher refeed days. So I would go zero carbs for like 5 days or so, and then have like a high refeed day. So all I changed was that Justin would maybe give me a little bit more food and more mild refeeds. But I don't like the mild refeed because it makes me hungrier, but I'm not satisfied.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah. Then you're just starving going into the next day.
so
Yeah,
I
he gives
lowered
you
my
just enough, and then
yeah, but he's doing it because it makes more sense for performance. Because now I go zero carbs. Now my performance in the gym sucks for 5 days. Then I have 1 or 2 good days. Whereas with his plan, I will have so workout days and then one better workout day. So technically, I'm getting better workouts. But I'm like,
Yeah.
better workouts or or feeling like shit. And I was like, let me go not feeling like shit. But I would probably look better doing it his way, which is what I'm gonna do next prep. I'm like, fuck how I feel. Let me just do whatever makes me look best. It is what it is. It's 20 weeks, 5 months. It's a long time, but on the spectrum of things, 5 months is nothing. You could. Well, you're not suffering for 5 months. You're suffering for 2 months, right?
I would say it's always like the last 2 months.
Yeah, you're suffering for like 8 weeks, and then I noticed with Justin, I feel better. Like the week of the show, I feel good. When I did my own stuff, I felt like shit all the way to like 2 weeks post show.
Yeah,
So,
that's not good, bro.
and that's not good at all. I'm just now really feeling like myself as far as in the gym, but the fatigue I built up was ridiculous. I couldn't shake it off. I went down to like 2 exercises per body part, like 2 sets each, for me to not feel fatigued. And I'm like, I don't even know if it's enough volume for me to grow. So I can't build up that much fatigue. It wasn't good. I did
You won't lose body fat if you're that fatigued. You won't drop body fat.
I agree. Because it was a bad idea to do the Cal and the USA because it was 9 weeks apart. So I did an 18-week prep, and then maybe had a week or two off diet, maybe a week and a half off of that off of plan. Not all. I mean, I wasn't just like scarfing down junk food, but it was more flexible. And another 7 weeks. So we're looking at 27 weeks of dieting straight. That's not good. That's not good.
That's like what I did for USA's in 2021. It was 26 weeks that I prepped for. That sucked.
But you look. But did you do it? You did a show in between too, right?
Yeah, it was either 5 or 6 weeks out. I had a regional show, but total, yeah, 26 weeks from start to the end of the USA's.
Okay.
So,
Did you feel like you were flat for USA or no?
I was a little flat because I was like peeled at 231, 232, and we were trying to make heavies, but we didn't want to do anything extreme.
Yeah.
So I was flat by the time I got under 225. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
when you diet that long, it's hard to not to look burst and full sometimes.
oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. But that's why I'm excited. This is going to be like my first short off season in a long time because I did a 3 year off season before USA's and then took 2 years off between USA's and Texas. So now I'm going to be competing again within a year of Texas. So I'm going to stay leaner. I won't have to do nearly as long as of a prep.
Yeah. I feel like with your body type, you and Paul, you could benefit off a 2 year off season. Whereas for me, I don't think I get that much better because I put on weight very easily. So when I'm in that mode too long, I think I tap out after a while. So I think me competing every year is beneficial for me personally.
Yeah.
I've
And
had
it keeps your insulin sensitivity higher that way.
does. And I want to say Joe is probably similar. I think Joe competing every year and catching that rebound while he's so lean and then catching that rebound, I think he progresses better that way than taking like 2-3 years off. Like I see some people do,
Yeah.
Like would you agree with that, Joe? Like do you feel like competing every
Well,
year?
yeah, I mean, because you get that response from the show, and then it gives you like a solid off season, a good two good pushes after the rebound.
Yeah.
So whatever you do with those pushes, obviously, is what you're going to get. But like the rebounds where I make most of my off season progress, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And like for between the Cal and the USA's, that rebound, I got bigger than I ever was, and then we pushed 2 times. The first push, I put on a decent amount, but not much. It was more so like my body learning how to be that big for a long period of time. Then the second time we pushed my body farther where I hit the 270s.
Yeah.
And I put on like 24 pounds in like 6 weeks on that push. And it was an 8 week push. And I felt terrible. But I knew that was the push, the second one, that was really going to be the game changer for my physique.
100%. I will go as far as to say I think I make for the year. I think I make like 70% of my gains in the rebound, and then the other 30% is probably in the off season.
Well, I was talking to Paul about it. I was like, I feel like so if you do your rebound right and you really maximize it, that first push you do, like that first true off-season push, I don't feel like it's supposed to be to put even more like additional weight on. It's
Mhm.
more so to really recomp and solidify that weight you just got from that rebound.
You're right.
Really like turn it into a solid mass, not just whatever weight it was. Because
100.
we're holding a lot of water still after that show, and
Yeah,
it's new tissue, and I feel like that first push is really important to learn what you just got.
I agree. Past couple of years, I haven't been taking a full year off. I think it's been like 7 to 9 months ish. So I'll basically get heavy and diet right back down. And I don't feel like my gains translated to stage as much as they should because I haven't been holding the weight for a long time.
Yeah, it's holding it that
Yeah.
matters the most.
Whereas this, I have a full calendar year and I'm already at 295. So I'm gonna health phase, I'll hold like 285, 290. Then I'll get to make, like a big push. There's no telling where the weight is gonna get, but I'll be able to hold a heavy weight for a long time. And I think it's gonna look like I made all these gains, whereas I just actually kept my gains, right? So
Yeah, dude, you got to let that weight marinate. I was at like
Yeah.
285 for a very, very long time last off season. Like, and
see,
then, we'd cruise and I'd come down a little bit and we'd blast again and I'd come up a little bit. And it was just like between 280, 290, but I maintained that for so long that it stuck much better than when you just pull back down.
The way I looked at 290 last year, I shouldn't have had to go down to 243. That's why I felt because I see people look like that at 290 and they're competing at 260. So I'm like, why the hell am I losing 50 pounds if I was actually my leanest ever off season? That's weird, but I didn't hold it. I didn't hold it long enough. So like you said, a lot of that fluid and water retention that becomes muscle eventually, I just lost that, So that extra 10 pounds, I just kind of lost it once I started dieting, I think. So
Yeah.
that's one of those things, but we've been on for a minute now, so we're probably gonna wrap it up. But
I
before
was
we
gonna say I'm about to go get my pre-workout meal in, man. I'm feeling a little
That's what I
hyper.
was just eating. I was like, fuck this, fuck.
I'm starting to lose some steam here. But yeah, I'm gonna ask, but Jordan, do you have any plans for next year that you're willing to share if you're willing to share it at all?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any solidified plans yet, so I don't really rebound hard out of the shows. We take a slightly different approach. We go straight into a health phase.
All right.
And so I'll come up maybe 15 pounds out of the show, and then we just hold there for about 8 to 10 weeks, and then my push is coming at the end of October, and we're really going to crank it hard. Probably one big off-season push for a longer extended period,
Yeah.
and then go into a prep next year. So we're hoping to compete like a little bit earlier in the year than we did this last time. Like, so not, Texas and Legion are the last U.S. shows. I'd rather have some more options.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to just push as hard as we can and then compete a little earlier. But we really don't know yet. It depends on how my body responds. So.
Yeah. So so usually I would tell people don't take a break after the show, but I kind of see how lean you are, and you're gonna be just that lean by the time you're done with the health phase. So you'll get the same rebound effect, because you're only gonna be like 10, 15 pounds over stage weight, and you're still shredded. So when you're done with the health
Yeah,
phase,
that's kind of the approach. That's what Chris likes to do.
yeah.
I mean, and I like the approach,
Uh-huh.
because I definitely feel like it allows my body to get healthy
Yeah.
before pushing really hard. And I mean, the goal is to stay as lean as possible these next few weeks, and then and I'm like right around the low 260s,
Uh-huh.
and then I will catch a rebound and we'll push the food up really high. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
For my body, I don't trust my body and my mind to stay that lean for 10 weeks post show.
Dude, I'm trying hard. Like, I mean, obviously I can have higher food during the week, but I get like a free day on Saturday. And last Saturday I had two. So usually I just do one cheat meal. It was my birthday. I had breakfast and dinner, and I even pulled back on my carbs during the day. I held so much water for like 3 or 4 days. I was like, I'm done with this cheap food business, dude. Like, I hate holding water for all the way from Saturday to Wednesday. But I try to be as disciplined as possible. But those cheat meals get me after the shows. I go too hard.
if I was, if I was with Chris, the following check-in, he'll be like, "Yeah, let's see how we're doing. I'll be 300 the following check-in." He'll be like, "You kind of fucked up the health phase, bro."
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying to chill out on the cheat meals. It's been like 4 weeks after the show. I think I'm done with all this now.
Yeah, I know that feeling when you're like, you know what? I was in Vegas and I wanted to, to enjoy myself in Vegas before I left. But it's hard to enjoy yourself at that point. I was so depleted. I'll eat junk food. I'll get the hiccups. I'll be sweating. I couldn't sleep. I was like, I think we should
Yeah,
just go back home. I don't think we're gonna enjoy. I'm not gonna enjoy Vegas in this phase.
I
But
feel you, man.
you got any plans, Joe, for next year yet, or you still?
No, man. So, I mean, Justin is just as surprised with my rebound as I am, and he wants to make the call come January. So, pretty much what I was telling you, like, do a rebound, health phase, one push or one off-season push, and then what I'm looking like in January, he's going to line up some shows that he thinks I should do.
Yeah,
So, it's just going to depend on my body's response, and clearly it's responding. So I'm just going with the flow.
I think I should have waited till I was 26 to hop on gear too. If you, the way your body responding, bro.
No shit.
Think I hopped on too early, man. I think I missed that. I think I overdid it. I should have waited.
I have a lot of my buddies that they see what's happened with my physique, and it's just. Well, I told Paul I just let my ceiling get higher because like I hit a certain level of strength and muscle mass. Like even natural, like I'm super skinny in that picture that you see.
Yeah.
But like when you're natty trying to do a show, you lose a lot of strength and a lot of tissue and
Yeah.
trying to come in condition.
Mhm.
But I would get up to like 225, 230 natty, and I would still have my abs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Dude, that
really
was
hard
the
to
same
hold
for
on to
me.
condition.
Huh?
We
But
kind of
then
did the same thing, bro. Like I pushed hard and got really strong, and I was in like the 220s. I was in like low to mid 220s before I ever touched anything.
yeah, and so I was just like, I always figured, well, shit, like if I could, because I was in no rush. I didn't even know I wanted to be a bodybuilder for a long time. I just really liked lifting. I like being a big guy.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, let me see if I'm going to do my first show and I want to do a natty. I want to see how I line up against everybody. And I was like, if I'm competitive naturally, then in my head, it's going to give me a lot of confidence that when I'm on the same playing field as everybody else. And when I took second in a regional open class, and I was like, well, shit, maybe if I do some other things, I was like, I'll do well. And I won. And then,
Man.
first attempt at a national show, I won. So I'm just like, I'm glad I waited, but I did bring my ceiling a little bit higher because I waited.
Man, I was Googling D-ball at like 14.
Don't get me wrong, bro. I used to, people would ask me back when I was natty, like, hey, what are you taking? I was like, I'm not taking anything.
Mhm.
And I was like, and I would tell them, I was like, look, man, like, trust me. Do I want to? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And secondly, if I was taking something, I would be fucking huge. So here we are.
It definitely worked out for you, man. It worked out for you. Good shit. But honestly, like with your discipline and work ethic, you probably would have been a great bodybuilder regardless. But it's better that you waited for sure. But definitely,
No, it is what it is. I just it's easy to be patient when you really enjoy something.
right.
So it's just like I said, I always love training. It was like my outlet, and the only reason that I even started doing the supplements and all that stuff was because I wanted to win. I wanted to be competitive. So I played football. I'm competitive like by nature. So like when you want to win something, you're gonna do whatever you got to do to win. Like so it is what it is.
Well, guys, my vision's starting to get blurry. So
me too, bro. I'm hungry, man.
Yeah, you going hypo over there?
I'm going hypo, and I feel like Paul going a little hypo too.
I'm proud of Paul, bro. Look at him, man. I'm like, shit, dude. Like I feel his pain.
Man, his cheekbones are getting more gaunt as we go on. So
yeah, bro. I'm fat and tired, and he's over here fucking fatigued.
I can't wait to be fat and tired again too.
It's not that great over here.
Well, good luck, Paul, at the Legion show, man. I hope to see you do well.
Thank you.
I mean, hey, you in a good mood too. I mean, what you got 3 weeks?
For me?
Yeah,
about 2.5.
Yeah, 2 weeks out, I was not in the mood to talk, man. Did you see me post like any podcasts 2 weeks out?
You disappeared the last 3-4 weeks.
Dog, I didn't talk to Paul at all. He was right next to me for days, and I didn't say a word.
We started training. He was wearing his fucking headphones. He was putting headphones on.
I started wearing headphones, yeah.
The only time we would take it down is we talk about our set or whatever.
That's why you should be retired before you start a podcast, because once I go into prep, the podcast is discontinued. There's no podcast for 3 months. All right, guys.
It was great meeting you, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. Great meeting you guys, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, one more question. What camera you got over there, Jordan?
It's a Sony A7 IV.
Oh, I got the A7 III, but I feel like hooking it up because it doesn't it die after like an hour?
Well, I don't know if the A7 III does live streaming. I know the 4 does, but I'm not sure. I think this may have been the first one they made of that series that does like live streaming.
I gotta hook that up.
If you have any questions about it, let me know, bro.
Will do, bro. Will do. All right, gentlemen, let's go eat so we can stay slow.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you.